Hey, it's Mike Riley. One of the things I want to talk about is when we look at those four fundamental rules of gun safety, we want to talk about never pointing that weapon at anything you don't intend to destroy. Now, very often at a range, this is really obvious because you have a safe position to point the weapon. But in the real world, we often don't have that. And when we talk about carrying a firearm, we have to think about how would that weapon get to target and what are we going to be pointing the weapon at. So let's take a look at this using our practice weapon. Say if I carry the gun at the small of my back and I have to draw on a target that's there. As I draw that weapon, I'm sweeping it all around this side of the room. If I'm drawing from a shoulder holster, I'm pointing the weapon at myself and then swinging it all around here. So when we have that weapon deployed, right, whether it's in a safe or something like that, how are we going to bring that weapon up to a high ready and not point it at something we don't intend to destroy? Another big issue with this is when we're talking about making sure we're not pointing that weapon at something we don't want to destroy, that we are actually looking at what that weapon is pointed at. So when we deploy that weapon, we want to bring it up, and we want to bring it up high. This is what's called a high ready. And we want to bring it up into that high ready because understand, under stress, we're going to have television. So if we have the gun down here, we're not actually going to see where the gun is pointed. We want to bring the gun up here and make sure that the weapon is pointed at what we're looking at, and that is something that we want to have a weapon pointed at. It's why it's nice when you carry the gun in the appendix, because the gun immediately comes up and is pointed at what we want to be aiming at, and it isn't swinging any other direction. It's not pointing at anybody else. It's coming right up here in my line of sight, and if I don't have something that this weapon should be pointed at downrange, then this weapon needs to go back into the holster with the trigger guard completely covered.